Hey Lionheart folks, it's Lev. Welcome back to another video. For those of you who are new, I use him pronouns. I haven't made a YouTube video in like 3 months. It's felt like forever. It has been forever since I've filmed a video, and it feels weird saying video because I've been podcasting for the past 3 months. So the last video I recorded was in May this year, and that's also the month that I started my podcast. So basically, I've been taking a little break from videos and I wanted to give everyone a live update today because I've basically banished from YouTube for 3 months. So I have been podcasting. So I started a podcast called uh I forgot the name of my podcast. Stories from a Lionheart Phoenix. That's right. Stories from a Lionheart Phoenix, and I've been podcasting for the past 3 months. Hence why I have paused on making videos. And it's basically like the talking videos I make. So if you see all these like super long 20, 25 minutes, 35, 40-minute videos on YouTube where I just sit in front of a camera and talk, my podcast is basically that, except that I have no video footage of myself and it's just all audio. I will link it down below if you're interested in checking that out. If you've been enjoying my talking videos about different things, you might like my podcast because again, it's basically the same thing except that there's no video. And I started a podcast because I sort of got tired of continuously talking on camera because I like making content. I like journaling in some way, right? But I didn't always feel like having my face being filmed while I want to talk. And so I'm like, podcasting is perfect because I still get to talk, but then I don't have to use all the energy to, show my face on camera. And so that's why I started a podcast. The other thing I've been doing is for the past 2 months, since June is. Oh, there's a dog in the background. Since June is writing horror stories. So I am a horror enthusiast and I love horror movies. I love listening to horror podcasts. It's like true crime and also made up fictional stories. And I play a lot of horror games. So my favorite one would probably be Outlast. Outlast is probably my favorite horror game because it's first person and it's utterly terrifying. And you can't really do anything but run or hide, basically. You can't fight the enemy. And so I decided to start writing horror stories. I actually finished the last part yesterday and posted it. So the story is called The Grinning Stitcher. I'll also link that below. It's on my website. And it's a story about Kyle. It's a fictional story, by the way, which is sort of based on lived experience, but not everything in the story is real. Some of it is improvised and dramatized because it's a fictional story, but the crux of it is based on my lived experience. So it's about a 27-year-old emergency nurse named Kyle who seems to live a normal life until these visions start plaguing him. These visions of this boy, this entity, and it keeps plaguing him. It appears in his nightmares. He sees it in his real life, and no one else sees it, and it just keeps like following around everywhere, and he doesn't know what it means. And as the story unfolds, as you keep reading it, you will learn more about who it is, what it is, its connection to Kyle, and stuff like that. So it's like a psychological horror. I group it as a psychological horror. So not so much like I mean, it's not so much a ghost. It's more like an entity. It just torments Kyle all the time, and he doesn't know why. He doesn't know where it came from, and the whole story is him figuring it out and just going on this path of trying to understand this entity and why it keeps and how it's connected to him. So that's my psychological horror story. It's 4 parts. It's part one, two, three, four. It's all on my website. I'll link it down below. It's called The Grinning Stitcher. And that's what I've also been doing. So I've been taking a break from YouTube, but I've been doing other creative stuff. And the other thing, I've also been doing like creative collaborative stuff with other people. If you watched some of my earlier videos from this year, you might know that I was in a theater production earlier this year. I performed in a theater production, and so now I'm part of a different queer or LGBTIQ plus theater production. This time I'm not performing, but I'm part of the lighting team, like the people who controls stage lights and stuff. I'm part of the lighting team and the documentation team. So basically, photography and videography. So I'm doing that as well, and also I'm doing a collaborative songwriting project with a musician. So it's really exciting, just doing different like independent creative stuff, but also collaborative creative stuff with other people. So check those out. Check out my story. Check out my podcast. And I mean, if you live in Melbourne, right, and you're interested in seeing the theater show I'm part of, then send me an email and then I will respond to you in private. Um, yeah, that's the crux of my creative life updates as I've taken a pause from YouTube. And just on the note of pausing, it's okay if you're creative, right? It's okay to take a break from your main creative medium. Say you're a writer and you're just like stuck with writing, you have writer's block and you still want to do creative stuff, but you just don't want to write or you don't know how to proceed with your story, which happened to me as I write and then I don't touch my story for a week or two when I get stuck and then I come back to it. It's like, it's okay to change mediums. It's okay to go from plan A to plan B and then come back to plan A. You don't have to stick with one creative medium the entire time. And that's why I have so many different creative mediums because I don't necessarily just stick to one thing because that one thing doesn't always work for me. Say making videos. Like it's I just like I didn't feel like making videos anymore, so I changed to podcasting, and then I also started writing horror stories, and I still write blogs. And I swap around creative mediums because one creative medium doesn't work for me all the time as a way for me to express myself in at that point in time necessarily. So I have like 10 million creative hobbies. I've I forgot to mention earlier that the angle of the video is sort of crooked because I'm putting it on the other bench and the bench is sort of crooked and it's not straight, so the angle is a bit straight. You're not tilting your camera or anything. You're not tilting your phone or whatever device you're watching on. The actual video is tilted. FYI. And I've also been just letting my inner child loose more. So I started skateboarding like 3 months ago. Basically, since I took a pause from making videos, I've been doing a lot of other things. Like I started skateboarding because I really wanted to skateboard. So I started skateboarding, and I've actually been doing decently well, given that I haven't been doing it for that long. I started by hugging the fence for dear life and holding on because I was just like getting used to standing on the board. Now I'm just like rolling down gentle hills, and I started practicing on grass, like how to turn the board, as in you lift the head of the board so you can do sharper turns. So that's what I'm practicing, and I've also been swimming since April. So 4 months of swimming lessons. My swim teacher keeps making this joke that see you at the next Olympics. And the reason my swim teacher says that is not because I'm actually wanting to be an Olympian or a professional athlete. No, it's because I don't give up and I'm stubborn. And when I feel some fear and I feel like reluctant or uncertain about doing something, I do it anyway. And then I make a complete flop of myself, as in I do it very badly. And then I just take on her feedback and then I just do it again and then I do it again. It's not so much about perfectionism, it's about just continuing to show up and being okay with making mistakes and then using the mistakes and the things we didn't do so well to level up essentially. And we all suck at the start. This is like videos sort of going off tangent, but I'm gonna go off this little tangent anyway. We all suck at the beginning. We're not meant to be good at the thing we're starting out as. That's the point of being a beginner. We're meant to suck. When I was writing my horror story, I didn't know what the hell I was doing either. Like, I'm pretty sure I can trim it. I could trim it. I could make it more concise. I could word some things better, but then I just posted it anyway instead of sitting there trying to perfect the whole thing, whatever that means, for the first time writing a horror story. And the same with swimming. Like, I've been terrified of drowning my whole life until I started swimming lessons because I don't know how to swim. I didn't know how to float either. Not very water confident. And so I was very bad, essentially. I was awful at every stroke possible. My coordination was horrific. I did not, I, when I swim, I bent my knees, which I'm not meant to. I meant to keep my legs straight. Basically, I sucked, and now I'm getting a lot better because I just show up and flop and show up and flop again, show up and flop again, and it's basically show up, do it, fail, do it again, show up, fail, or fail but get a little bit better, do it again, show up, fail but do it a little bit better, do it, and then it's just a cycle of that, and that's how we level up. And I'm gonna try and keep this video short because I don't want to make another half an hour video right now because it's not I don't want a 30-minute life update. It's too long. So I wanna that's my life update. So I'll link my work down there. I've still been doing stuff. If you've been interested still in following my work, just check out my blogs, check out my horror story, check out my podcast, which I post semi-frequently. Every 2 weeks is when I schedule an episode. I have like 11 episodes out already, so if you're interested, go check that out. So some Lionheart Phoenix. But until next time, until I come up with a video idea or just feel like engaging in the video creative medium again, I will. Yeah, everyone stay safe and check out my other stuff, and I will see you in the next video whenever I decide to make another video.